Hey everybody, Artistic Ane is back here with another speed drawing video. And yeah, this time I decided to skip the sketching process and the whole drawing process and go straight to the coloring. This time you get to see the baselines, so I mean, that's kind of cool, right? This particular character, I don't want to get into too much detail about his entire story, because he's part of a work in progress, a story that's in progress. He's not a main character exactly, but he is a pretty important side character. Well, he's part of the group that the story's about, I guess. This particular character is Kaiko Kikoa. He goes by Kai. He is Hawaiian, mostly, so like he's supposed to be of Filipino descent, but his family is from Hawaii. He's kind of heavily based, actually, looks-wise anyway, on some of my cousins, whom, you know, they're not getting named. They'll probably never see this. But, yeah, just for a little bit into his character, Kai is a very happy guy. He's a happy guy who enjoyed his time in Hawaii. The story does not take place in Hawaii. It takes place in some city on the West Coast, mostly because that's where I'm from and that's the area I'm used to. The reasons for his move are going to be confidential. But in this particular illustration, I just wanted to draw him in kind of in a flirty mood, perhaps, because that's his character. He is one of my few characters in this story who is just happy, which might say a lot more about my story, honestly. He is the happy guy who is content to be with how things are. He's the very go with the flow kind of a guy. Tends to look things on the bright side, and he'll ignore problems until they either go away or somebody else takes care of it, which is not healthy at all, Kai. You need some help. He is a surfer. That's one of the skills that he has. He knows how to surf. He's not necessarily good at it, but he knows how to stay alive and have fun when he's on the waves. And that's important to him. That's all really is. To him, life is a time to enjoy what you can, when you can, and as you can. Which, you know, still technically not entirely healthy. I spent so long on this guy's skin. Because I just wanted to make sure I could just get the tones right, really. So you can see right there I was messing around with all the filters, trying to look out everyone, test out everyone that I could do. I actually looked up a couple of tutorials just to make sure that I was doing the skin tone justice. I know it's not obvious because you don't see my face, but I am a very, very white person. That was sarcasm, by the way. I'm pretty sure it's obvious. So yeah, I am very much white. And I wanted to make sure I do this skin tone justice, basically. Although I pretty much discovered, excuse me, it's really not that different to get the right shades and tones and breathe to life the character skin tone. Like, it's really not that different. You just excuse me. You just do what you did before. There are slightly redder parts on others, and I did see like quite a few tutorials mention about tone maps, I guess is what they were called, where you have the middle of the face, regardless, is usually redder. The lower part of the face, like from the lower jaw to the chin, it's usually a bit more cool and gray. And then you have bright yellow for the forehead. Kai doesn't have to worry about that because his hair is covering his forehead. But I actually messed around with the skin for a long time to make sure I was giving him enough justice. Not forgetting how shirts work. And that is a shark tooth, by the way, on his, for his necklace, because I like shark teeth. Shark teeth are cool. I personally don't own one, but, in my head, Kai probably saw this. He actually probably, shoplifted it from a tourist trap on Hawaii, because he's like, heck, this is my home state, I can do whatever I want. No, not quite, probably, that's not quite his character. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say much about Kai. He's, without, going into the story of the story, just a happy-go-lucky guy. He's not necessarily flirty, like, as a person, but many of his actions can be considered flirty if you are, like, squinting really hard and you want to take it in that context. He would, probably deny any flirtations. He was just like, nah, man, I'm just being a friend. Because to him, that's more important. Like, friendship is the thing. And even then, honestly, he's just a happy guy, and he might consider some certain people friends, but he'll just be polite and, what's the word? Including. He'll include everybody. But even with the group that I put him in, he might not consider a whole lot of them actually friends. That guy. I gotta think about this a bit, actually. A moment when you start thinking of storylines. Oh, this is where I'm doing the toning. I will fix that chin later. It's not going to be that obvious. But I did think that the flush that I gave him across the nose and cheeks made it look much better. And at that point, after I'd finished that skin right there, I actually ended up stopping for the night there because I needed a break. And then I decided to work on the hair the next day. Now, the hair. My gosh, I know in my previous video, I did say that hair might be my favorite thing to draw. If not that, then it is the skin. But this particular hairstyle, my goodness, Kai. Why did I make you such a curly boy? Because I based him on my cousin who has very curly hair. But yeah, short curly hair is extremely hard for me to try and render in coloring. I still feel like I did not do it justice entirely. You might be able to see I have a second tab up there. I tried to edit out all of me going back to that for a reference because it is a very old picture. I believe I drew it in, oh good grief, would have been 10 years ago now. Holy what? Oh man. I drew a picture of the group of friends that he has 10 years ago, and I was using that kind of as a reference to give me a vague idea of what I wanted them to look like. And his hair was interesting in that picture. You might be able to get a sneak peek if I didn't edit it out, this whole thing properly. You can see right there I was trying to figure out specifically where each clump is supposed to land on his head. And in the end I decided to just hide the outline layers because I'm pretty sure that was throwing me off some, having the outlines of the outermost hair. So then, yeah, here I am just drawing different clumps of hair with the shadows and the highlights as I would see them on the planes of his head. Spheres are hard, people. Spheres and hair. Like, it's all art is hard. I'm still not entirely certain I really did the curliness of his hair justice, but I did my best, and that's all I can ask for at the time. But did I do my best? Did I really do my best? Did you really do your best? Well, we'll find out. So yeah, this is just gonna be me trying to figure out specifically where each clump is supposed to lay and how the shadows and lights would be working against it. That's another thing with dark hair. Dark hair, like, eventually it's gonna look black. And it looks black real fast with this dark brown, and especially with how I color hair in this sense. Oh, and side note, I will fix the top of his head. Right now I know it looks like a bite got taken out of the top of his skull. I will fill that space. It will look better in a few minutes from now, probably. But until then, you're gonna have to suffer with me and look at that cringe-inducing space. Anna, fix it. Fix it! I'll fix it. Don't worry, I promise. Alright, but until then, I'm just gonna keep messing around with the hair. And it looks like, yeah, alright, I finally figured out where each clump is laying, and I'm just finagling with the rest of the blurring and the outlines, which means that I'll fix that empty space real soon. And till then, just making sure I have all the right shadows and highlights, which is working okay. I still feel like I did not give, like I said, the curliness of his hair justice. He said not necessarily have ringlets, but it's supposed to look wild. Ah, yes. Individual highlight strands. That's what actually makes the whole thing pop. So maybe after this it'll look a little better. All things considered, I haven't actually drawn Kai in, it feels like years. I have drawn him since 2013. Not often, but enough times. I don't, oh, see, there he was. Oof, that was the 2013 picture. Yikes. Okay, here I am fixing the hair. Do that a couple of times actually, just to make sure that, just a simple case of moving the outline up, because I liked how that hair curl ended up, and I didn't want to have to try to recreate that. It's just a simple matter of filling in the space and all that. And oh my gosh, that looks better. That looks so much better already. As I was saying, considering I haven't drawn Kai in, I'm pretty sure, years, and I don't draw guys actually that often, just because I'm more used to using myself as a reference, and I'm very much not a guy. I found it easier just to draw girls. So, I'm sorry, Kai. I did miss drawing you, though. He's such a smiley boy. Oh, yes, and I was doing a little bit of the finagling of the beads. I wanted to make them look almost see-through. They were kind of based on these necklaces that my aunt would give her babies. And they were supposed to help with teething processes, but they looked really, really pretty and really cool. And I just thought, heck, why not add it to the shark tooth? And I finagled with the metal beads a couple of times. I'm just using the layer effect again for easy greebles. Alright, and then up next is the lighting for the bench. He's just supposed to be on a bench near a beach, I think, in the sun, and he's just being almost flirty, but not quite flirty. Like I said, that's not quite his character. Many people might think he's flirty, but he's just friendly and inclusive. And this is, oh yeah, fixing the eyelashes, I believe, is what that was. And already he looks a little bit more masculine, so thank you for that. Pass to me. And then it's just a matter of fixing up the lighting and the backgrounds. I tried to figure out, oh yeah, adding a wooden texture to the bench. Just figuring out how to do it properly, but still giving it that green look, because I definitely wanted him to be on a green bench. But I still want that texture, so gotta figure out that. And I managed, thank goodness. Oh, so shortly after I finished this drawing, Love to Draw Manga posted on Instagram saying that she was accepting art submissions for I Critique Your Art. And I thought, well, shoot, why not? That's something that I've always kind of considered possibly submitting my art, but I hadn't drawn anything recently that I would want her to talk about, because anything else would have been like unfair to myself, like to send her an old artwork to critique, because that's not my current skill level, and this kind of is. So here's hoping she sees it and has something to say, maybe on the anatomy or the coloring, but or even the lighting, honestly. But if she doesn't, how about you give me your critiques and comments? I will accept anything to help me possibly improve, as long as it's constructive enough to me to actually improve. And then this is just me finagling with the shadows, which means we're almost done. There is one thing on Kai that I completely forgot, and I was so mad, actually, that I had forgotten it. He has these markings on his arm. Both arms, actually. And I totally forgot them, and I was so mad that I did, because that's kind of important to his character. What? But it's more important to the story than his actual character. Alright, well, with me signing that and finishing up with the sun rays, there is that final illustration. Let me know what you think, and yeah, I guess that's it. Peace out, all y'all.